My topic is mainly concerned with research paper writing. It is intended for the 4th year English specialization of distance education. It is paper 1, Eng-4101 research paper writing. Before attempting Eng-4101, I will give you some suggestions. Please bear in mind that distance education is self-study learning, so you need to study your subjects on your own. In addition, you must know how many units you have to study in semester 1. First, I will explain what you have to study in semester 1. They are writing research papers, choosing a subject, using the library, narrowing the focus, finding relevant books and articles, preliminary bibliography, preliminary thesis statement, preliminary outline, plagiarism, taking notes, revised thesis statement, revised outline, studying the preliminary draft, completing the preliminary draft, final draft, format of a research paper in ABA style, XML, a student's research paper, and frequent student questions. Now I will introduce you what a research paper is. An extremely common requirement of many academic courses is the research paper or term paper. It is a lengthy written composition that is usually developed and written during the course of a whole term or semester. In essence, it involves the writer in section 4 publish information on a specific topic, studying and thinking about this information, and then writing about the topic in a way that makes use of the information. As you work on your research papers, bear in mind, while they are a standard scholarly activity, they demonstrate that the writers have read widely in a certain subject area. It means applying familiarity with library resources, assimilated and thought critically about the reading, and finally, written a fully documented exposition of the issues. Now, I will go on two types of research papers. In its broadest sense, the term research simply means scholarly or scientific investigation or inquiry. When applying to a student's work for a particular paper, the term can mean one of two things. 1. Report research paper. A writer may gather information on a topic from several sources and present it in paraphrase, that is, in his or her own words, in a coherent, organized way. In this type of paper, the writer reports what others have said, without making any attempt to add personal comments or a personal point of view on the main issue. This is a common requirement of undergraduate courses and is often called a report. 2. Argumentative research paper. When the writer presents the ideas of others and also makes judgments on them, adds personal comments, and tries to support a different personal position on the main issue, the paper is an argumentative one. It is sometimes called a thesis in graduate courses. This is the standard requirement. This is also the types of paper that scholars publish in journals, because it is this type that communicates advances in knowledge, new ideas, and new points of view. Sometimes, this type of paper forms the basics of a proposal, as for a graduate thesis or dissertation, because it concludes with a statement of a proposed project that the writer or someone else will undertake. I continue to explain steps of writing a research paper. Then, I will give you a general idea of some of the stages you must go through in producing a research paper. The following flowchart will give you a more detailed picture. First, choose a subject. Then you need to consider, is it practical or interesting? Yes or no. Second, check reference sources for your subject in the library. Concerning this, you need to narrow the subject. In addition, you should think, is it narrow enough? Yes or no. Third, find out what resources the library has for this narrow topic by beginning a preliminary bibliography. After that, you should consider, are there useful books and articles available? Yes or no. Fourth, further develop a preliminary bibliography. Here, it is necessary for you to read and take note to get familiar with the topic. Moreover, do you know enough to be able to focus on one very limited aspect? Yes or no. Fifth, develop a preliminary thesis statement and preliminary outline. Concerning this, continue reading and taking notes. Here, you need to consider, do you have enough notes, information, and ideas? Yes or no. Sixth, revise your preliminary thesis statement and preliminary outline. In this case, draft the body of the paper. Draft the introduction and conclusion. Redraft all or part of the paper. Then you should ask yourself, are you satisfied? Remember that you have limited time, yes or no. Then, add citations and bibliography. Don't forget to add citation and bibliography. You should check. Are citations and bibliography complete? Yes or no. 7. A tip for mechanical errors, such as spelling and punctuation. Are you satisfied that there are no other errors? Yes or no. After that, add the cover page with your name, the title, etc. Finally, hand the paper into your instructor. After that, you relax. The sequence shown in this chart may seem quite complicated, but if you think about each step separately and concentrate on that step alone, you will be surprised at how you get through it all quite easily. Do not think too much about the final product or about the whole process that takes so many weeks or months. Certainly, you should keep these in mind in a general way, so that you know where you are going and how you will get there. But concentrate on each step separately as you go along, and your research paper writing will not be so difficult after all. I will continue the structure of research papers. Regardless of subject area, most research papers have a similar general structure. The introductory paragraphs state what is to be discussed and give the context of the subject, normally mentioning work done by others. The introduction then usually mentions how the writer will deal with the subject, whether by summarizing and synthesizing the work of others, or by arguing logically about facts and theories, or by presenting the result of experimental research, or in any other way, or combinations of ways. The end of the introduction usually includes the main idea sentence or thesis statement. The longer section of a research paper is usually called the body to distinguish it from the introduction and conclusion. It consists of many paragraphs, carefully linked with the introduction and conclusion, and with each other, which present information and discussion in an organized way. The concluding paragraphs usually summarize the main points of the paper and restate, in different wording, the thesis statement. Often, the conclusion also has some indication of the implications and consequences of the study, such as a recommendation for action or further research. After that, you need to choose a subject. Decide on a subject that you want to write about, but at this first stage, do not narrow it down too much. Make a note of it on a sheet of paper and add a few sentences explaining why you want to work on this particular subject. Hand it in to your instructor by the due date. There are two guiding principles to remember when choosing something to write about: practicality and interest. Being practical about your choice means that you must consider the available time and the published resources on your topic, because you have a limited time to work in. You must be sure that there will be adequate information immediately available to you in your college library or from local libraries and information sources. This is usually not a problem for most students in selecting a subject. If you are taking a course in biology, for instance, the general subject area will usually be well represented in the libraries. If the course is a more specialized one within biology, in cell biology or liquids, for example, there will still be basic reference materials available in most libraries. However, when the subject area is not detected by the course, there may be a problem. Your topic may be too unusual or too specialized for your school and public libraries. If the course is a more specialized one within biology, in cell biology or lipids, for example, there will still be basic reference materials available in most libraries. However, when the subject area is not detected by the course, there may be a problem. Your topic may be too unusual or too specialized for your school and public libraries. Quite often, as a student choose to write about their home countries, perhaps their histories or education systems, but the libraries may or may not have useful materials for these topics. A preliminary survey of local resources is very essential in such a case. Interest, as well as practicality, is important in topic selection, because you will be working with this subject for many weeks. If you do not have a real interest in it, you may lose motivation later, and this will make your task much harder. A common and realistic question students frequently ask at this stage: How will I know that I can maintain interest in the subject until I have studied it thoroughly? It seems that I must already have studied the subject in order to know if I want to study it. There is no simple answer to this question. There is indeed some risk in choosing a subject area you have not studied before. However, one of the aims of the research paper is to provide an opportunity for you to gain a deep understanding of a subject, so you can think positively about either approach. A familiar subject will enable you to explore special aspects of it in more depth, while an unfamiliar subject lets you discover new areas of knowledge. Even with an unfamiliar subject, most researchers usually find that the more they get into it, the more interesting it becomes. In general, you should try to select something that seems to promise real value to you, perhaps something that you have always wanted to learn more about but have lacked the opportunity to study, or possibly a subject that you know will be valuable to you later in your more specialized academic work. Example 1. The automobile industry in Japan and the United States. You must give the reason why you choose this. I have been interested in this since I came here to the United States. The relationship between these two countries' automobile industry is complicated and they are in competition. Example 2. The topic is an investigation of the relationship between depression and assertiveness. The reason is that I have chosen the topic because I will use it for my dissertation, and it is something that interests me. I will end my talk here. I hope you have some ideas what research is, 2 types of research papers, steps of writing a research paper, and how to choose a subject. Good luck.